Hello everyone. So I am today going to talk about design patterns. So first of all, let's see what is design pattern. A design pattern is a reusable solution to a common problem in software design. It acts as a template or blueprint for solving specific issues in a standardized and efficient way. Design patterns are typically categorized into three main types. First one is creational pattern, second one is structural pattern, third one is behavioral pattern. So first see about creational patterns. So creational patterns focus on the process of object creation. They aims to make the system independent of how its objects are created, composed, and represented. By handling object creation mechanism, they provide solutions to problems such as object initialization and dependency management. Here, I use the singleton pattern as example of creational patterns. So, the singleton pattern ensure that a class has only one instance and provide a global point of access to that instance. This is useful when exactly one object is needed to coordinate actions across the system. So here I use the real-world example to demonstrate how the singleton pattern implement and works. So here is the scenario I used. A login class in an application where you want all part of the application to log message, messages to the same log file. The singleton pattern ensures that all log entries go through the same instance of the login class. Now let's move into the code. Here is the my code. First, I create a class called singleton, and in that class, I create a instance. Then I create a constructor for that my singleton class. It's a private because in singleton parent I should prevent the initiation from other classes. My constructor, that's why I used here to make private. So then I create a get instant method. In that get instant method, I check already the instant available or not in this code. So here is if instant equal to none, it means there is no instant already available. So here I trace if because of that I should create a new instance. So I create instant and return instant this function, this method. Here I create a main method. In main method, I create a S object name S12, S1 and S2. So this object make using the get instant method. Here I print I print mean I check the S1 and S2 are both refer the same instant. If yes, my output should come as true. So let's see about it. So here I run the code is true. It means S1 and S2 are referring the same instant. So that's how singleton pattern works and how we can use in that this pattern in real world. So now let's move into the structural pattern. Structural pattern. Structural design patterns are concerned with how classes and objects are composed to form larger structures. They help ensure that if one part of a system changes, the entire system doesn't need to change. These patterns facilitate the design by identifying a simple way to realize relationship between entities. Here I use adapter pattern. to, for example, for structural pattern. So the adapter pattern allows incompatible interfaces to work together. It acts as a bridge between two incompatible interfaces by wrapping an existing class with the new interface. Here, I use a real-world example to demonstrate you to how the adapter patterns work. So here is the scenario. A card reader that read different type of memory cards and act as an adapter to make them compatible with the laptop's USB interface. Now let's see how that adapter pattern works. Let's see about, here's the my adapter pattern I implemented. First, I create a target interface. In the target interface, I create a method called request, and then I create a adaptive class. So I can't in adaptive class I create a method specific request, and when I call the specific request method, we can print this message. That's so I can't directly access this in this class to this interface use directly. That's why we use this adapter. So here I use this adapter. Here I create an adapter class, implement the target interface. Uh, then I create adaptive. Here I create my adapter method, sorry, adapter constructor. Here I override that method come from interface. So in this request method, here in main class, I use the main method. Uh, I create a new method, new op sorry, I create a new adaptive instant, and then I create a adapter with adaptive, and here I call the adapter, I call the request method. So then I run it. So you can see we we successfully access that interface uh, me- method in interface. So adaptive, you can see the adaptive specific request that is string show here. So that's how the adapter design pattern works. Now let's move into the behavioral pattern. Behavioral design patterns are concerned with algorithms and the assignment of responsibility between objects. This pattern help in managing complex communication and the flow of data between different objects in a system, ensuring that objects can interact in a loosely coupled manner. So here I use observer pattern as an example for behavioral pattern. So the observer pattern defines a one-to-many dependency between objects so that when one object changes state, all its dependents are notified and updated automatically. This pattern is useful implementing distributed event handling system. So here I use a real world example to demonstrate how the observer pattern works. So here is my scenario. A newsletter subscription service where multiple observers receive update from the publisher when a new newsletter published. So now let's move into the code. Here's the implement the code describe the observer pattern. So first I read the subject class. In subject class I create a list. So this list help to show our users observers. Then I create a add method to add new observers to my system. And here I create a method called notify all observers. So this help to the coordinate the all message to my observers using this for loop. Uh, Here I create an interface called observer. In observer, I create a method called update. And here I create another method print observer. So when I add new observers to my system, I need to get name and I should have a method identify them. So that's why I use this method. So when I call this print observer method, so I can get them details, get them names obviously. So then I override the method that's in update method. In here I create the main one class. In main one class, I call the main method. First, I create a new object called subject. So then I get details my new for observers. Here I add those four observers to my system. Then I create a new post or I add new post. So then I can convey this message for all my subscribers. So now let's run this code. So here you can see all observers are notified. So that's how the observer pattern works. So that's all about my presentation. Thank you very much.